So I think I should brush my hair. Never mind. I hope that I'm now live on YouTube and Facebook, and if so, welcome to everybody. It's lovely to see you. This is Crafty Carol Clark from Northern Ireland. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and I love to share what I do. And I always go live at 2 o'clock on a Tuesday. It's only the odd week I can't. So if you do want to follow me on here, please do check in at 2 o'clock every Tuesday, and I will see you either on Facebook or on YouTube, whichever suits you best. And today I've got some fun things to talk about because I want to talk about jazzing up cards. And I love making cards, and I spend a lot of time making fairly simple cards because I like to keep it relatively simple. Perhaps not as simple as some people, because I always do some things that are a bit more complicated. But it's quite easy to make a simple card, but it's nice to think about ways to jazz up any card, and that's what I really want to talk about today. So if you're joining me, please let me know where you are, who you are, where you're from, all of those things. It would be good. And I like to chat. I'll see the comments in the chat, but unfortunately we can't actually talk on this, but that's I will read your comments and we'll chat that way. So let me move to my desk. Try and get it right. There we go. There, so you see my craft desk now with me just in the corner at the bottom. I'm still here. Yeah, so I've been making cards the last couple of weeks with this Thoughtful Wishes set, which is beautiful and has a lovely set of coordinating dies, which I tend to keep in the box with them because they're a little bit too big to fit in directly, so I cut them up and make them look a bit odd, but beautiful dies and that cut out lovely frames and various bits. And I've used this one in a card I'm about to show you. I use them on other cards, and you can see the previous cards I made on my website at craftycarolscards.co.uk, and all the stuff is there. So as I said, today I want to talk about how we can jazz up cards. So I've started off, I made a card using this Thoughtful Wishes set, and I'll show you what I've done with it. So I've made this card, and all I've done here is I've used a layer of DSP from the Unbounded Beauty set of DSP, which is beautiful. Let me just show you those. Lovely DSP. You've got this beautiful Pretty in Pink. This is all in the new catalogue, and that has every single colour, actually, every single colour of the new in colours on these flowers on the back of that piece. Also in this sheet here with flowers on, and that has a lovely green back. Try and get the rest out so you can see them properly. Another flowery one, this time with a rather nice, what is the new colour called? I keep forgetting. Petunia Pop back, lovely striped back, which I will definitely make some in. Here's more of the other sheet of the flowers are Pretty in Pink. Then we've got this rather nice, I like this, with peach pie, beautiful flowers again, and that has a lovely summer splash background on it. And then we have Petunia Pop flowers, and that has Pretty in Pink and peach pie. Petunia, I think it's got Petunia Pop and, or is it? No, Pretty in Pink and peach pie, I think that one. Always difficult to know. Good afternoon, Emma Lou. Nice to see you. The pink card is beautiful. Pink is your favourite. Oh, good, because we're doing a lot of pink today. So you'll be pleased with that. I love this piece as well. I'm going to use this piece in some cards soon because it's beautiful. So that's and peach pie on the back in another sort of, I like both sides of that. It's always difficult when you like both sides of a paper because you don't know which one to use. Anyway, that is the Unbounded Beauty DSP, and it goes with these Unbounded Love set of stamps and dies. And the Unbounded Love stamp set is just lots and lots and lots of different sentiments, and they're all beautiful. I'm not going to read them all out, but you can see it in the catalogue. If you want to see the catalogue, you haven't got a paper copy, just go onto my website, and there is a link to click to see the new catalogue online. And you can see the Unbounded Love. It's part of a suite, I think, the Unbounded Beauty suite or something. Can't remember what the suite's called. Anyway, part of the suite which has the paper and this and the dies. And the dies, I got this for the dies. They are absolutely beautiful. I've just got various other little bits of things I've cut and not used, but these are the dies, and they're just fantastic. All of these gorgeous frames, lots of them with stitched detail, like those ones. That one, this has got sort of little spots around the outside, a lovely flowery flowery frame. That's difficult to say. 2 sentiment frames and more oval frames here. That one does fit inside this one. I checked it, and this circle does fit inside this one. So they do sort of interlink. Those two do as well. So you can really mix and match these. And you've got a few extra little dies as well. Some little flower sprays on these 2 dies and some leaves, which I've actually used in today's card. So these are just bits I made and didn't use. I did that Appreciate You. That is in Pretty in Pink. And I was going to put it on this card there, but I don't know what you think, but I look at that. Hello, Jenny. Nice to see you. South Africa. Oh, you've got the bog off order. Excellent, Emma. I'm glad you've got it good. So sorry, the bog off order that I did have on my website, unfortunately it's finished now because we're into June and it was just in May, but I will be doing another one probably in the autumn. So watch out for the next bog off offer when that comes up. So yeah, I'd actually stamped it in Memento onto Pretty in Pink, but when I put it together on the card, I didn't like it. I thought the white was better. So I've done Pretty in Pink sentiment on white and I think it looks a lot better. And you agree, Emily. I'm glad you agree because I do too. So that was my basic card that we're going to start with today. And obviously it's a card, it's perfectly all right on its own. Let me just try and get these away without breaking anything. There we go. It's because that hasn't slid in, that's why. Oh, push that away. So it's a card perfectly all right on its own. I use this die cut from behind. This is from the Thoughtful Wishes set that I showed you last week. Absolutely beautiful. Yes, Angela, I agree. Definitely white. That's why I've gone for the white. Hello, Angela. Right, so I also did the inside of it. I just used the sentiment from Thoughtful Wishes, You Make Life Better. And I used the little, there's like a little group of flowers here. And I used that stamp just to decorate inside the card and decorate the envelope. But I wanted to talk today about how you can jazz up cards. So I'm going to use the same basic card, and I've cut most of the pieces already, but I'm going to jazz it up. Okay, so this is my card. I've already stamped the envelope in the same way as before, just in Pretty in Pink. And I've already stamped the inside of the card in exactly the same way. You Make Life Better, and use the flower again. So that is that. So I've already got quite a lot of bits ready, and I've used, just to show that it jazzes up on the same principle, I've used exactly the same piece of DSP, just cut slightly smaller, because one of the easy, simple, quick ways to jazz up a card is simply to add an extra layer. And it's amazing how much just an extra layer makes a difference to a card. So I'm going to start by just sticking these layers together and show you just what a difference it actually makes. And there's one of our ladies who's a demo in the UK, who's done a lot of videos. She's been a demo for a long, long time. And Jan Brown, her name is, I think she just goes by Jan Brown actually, on her YouTube channel. But she puts layers on everything. She has quite a lot of layers on everything, and her cards are beautiful. Obviously, you've got the cost of it to think about because layers are not that cheap. You've obviously got an extra piece of card to go with it, but it does make a difference. I'm just going to stick this on to start with, just stick this on the card front, and just so you can compare the two and see the difference a layer makes. Now, in sizes, by the way, this is just a basic card base. The white card base is the normal one, which is 21 centimetres by 14.8, scored at 10.5 centimetres, or in inches, that's 8.5, 5.5, scored at 4.25. So the first layer, so the layer I've done, actually for both, I've done the same because I wanted to show you the same sort of size, really. So for the first layer here, the pink card layer, that is 10 by 14.3, and the layers of DSP are 9.5 by 13.8. And in inches, that card layer is 4 by 5.25 inches. DSP is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. So for layers, in centimetres, I tend to make them 1/2 centimetre better. Different shades of the same. Yeah, so there we go. Emma said, I'm rubbish with layers, so my cards end up looking like they're missing something. I don't think it says missing something. I think it's just different. And sometimes you just want a really simple card, and that I'm quite happy to send that one to somebody because it's still a lovely card that says something rather nice to somebody. So I would still use that. It'll probably go out as one of my thank you cards, one of my orders, probably. But I think adding the layer does make a difference. So it's just a matter of thinking about it. And all I do is when I've got my basic measurement for my base card, my first layer is 0.5 centimetre less. So you've got a 2.5 millimetre gap around each side. And my next layer is 0.5 centimetre smaller again. So the gaps are the same. I think one of the things with layers is to make sure that the layer doesn't really overgo, I suppose, you just want it there as a bit of an extra, like at the edge here. If you make too big a layer, if you make the next layer too much smaller, you get too much layer showing. I think that's what I'm trying to say, and I don't really like that. Oh, thank you. Say yours is lovely. And Angela says, great idea to use layers of different shades of the same colour. Absolutely. I think tone on tone is one of the most effective ways you can make cards. And you could do this, obviously, with this the papers I showed you earlier. They've got all of the new ink colours there, and you could use any of them in the car, and it would be fantastic. So that's the effect of just putting an extra layer on to compare the two. But I wanted to do a little bit more still, and I've just realised I've stuck the layer on, and I didn't mean to stick it on just yet. Oh well. We will do something different with this just to show. So what I was going to do is put a layer of ribbon around the layer before I stuck it on. And obviously I've stuck the layer on now, and it's been on for a while, so I don't think I'm going to be able to, no, I'm not going to be able to pull it off. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to stick the layer simply across there. I might try, I'll show you a little trick of mine, which doesn't always work, but we can try it today, which is, and I've had to use this trick because I've done this more often than I care to say, stuck my layer on before sticking my ribbon round. So my idea was to stick my ribbon around the layer before I stick it on, but obviously I've forgotten. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do a little bit of a cheat and see if I can make it work. And I've cut it so that it doesn't matter if it doesn't work, because it'll just stick out a little bit either side, and that won't really matter. Dear, I see I forgot that. I was so intent on showing you the difference a layer makes, I forgot to do the middle bit of it. Never mind. We'll make it up. So I just want to stick a piece of double-sided tape. I'll tear and tape across the middle like that. And then I'm going to peel it off, stick my ribbon on, and then tuck the edges of the ribbon in if I can using my pokey tool. So hopefully that's fairly straight. Now you can sometimes do this if you haven't put glue all to the very edge of your layer. So all I'm trying to do is just use my pokey tool. I think it's going to work. Might use my pokey tool to just tuck the edge under like that. It's going to be a little bit sticking up there that doesn't want to go under, but we'll hopefully hold it down. Yeah. We'll try the other side as well. This doesn't always work, but luckily, because I was fairly gung-ho with the glue and didn't put it right to the very edge. There we go. So the idea was I would have stuck that on first. Oh dear. But I have actually managed to rescue it. So I've stuck this on, and you want to stick it on first and actually use a piece of the double-sided tape to hold the ribbon behind. I think it's going to hold with that. There's enough glue holding the layer on that I think it'll hold the ribbon. Now I've tucked it in place. Don't do it how I've done it. Do it properly if you're doing this card. But again, you can see just the difference a little bit of extra makes across the middle. So again, I've used the same colour. This is the Pretty in Pink ribbon. It's called, I can't remember what it's called now. Is it a stitched ribbon or something? I can't remember now what the name is. I'll put it in the blog when I write it later. That'll be out hopefully fairly soon this afternoon after this. And it's beautiful ribbon. And I guess it to just show the little stitch detail at the side. Really pretty. And of course, there's a set of ribbon for each of the new ink colours. So Pretty in Pink, Summer Splash, Petunia Pop, Peach Pie, and Soft, what is it? Shy Shamrock. That's the one I find it difficult to say. Shy Shamrock, I think is really difficult to say. Anyway, it's one of the new colours. So adding a bit of ribbon is another way to jazz a card up. And I didn't want to just add a flat piece of ribbon, which you can. I wanted to do a bow. Now, some people put a whole length of ribbon round, leaving enough to tie a bow at the end. I personally prefer to do it this way, which is to stick a flat piece of ribbon on and then make my bow using the rabbit ear method. I'll try and show you that. It's difficult to show on the camera, but use my fingers to make 2 little rabbit ears, cross them over, tuck one through. I haven't made my rabbit ears very big, so I'm going to fiddle a bit with this. Tuck one through. Ooh, there we go. Pull it through. Get it through nice and flat. Come on through, little bit of ribbon. There we go. So tuck it through, and then we've got a bow which we can adjust up the size of our rabbit ears. Once we've pulled them through, make them a little bit smaller if we wanted. That's about right for me there. And then I'm going to use my ribbon scissors, always worth having scissors that you just use for cutting ribbon. So I can just make the ends like that. Just make that one slightly smaller. That'll do. There we go. And then I can stick this on, and I just can stick it on using a glue dot, and then I can have it going whichever way. If you've wrapped the ribbon round and then tied a bow, it will always go that way, which is okay. And well, we could try it this way just to see what it looks like, actually. Let's try it that way just to see. I can make that one a little bit smaller. There, we'll try it that way and see. So if you wanted to, just use a longer bit of ribbon and tie the bow from the ribbon. As I say, I prefer to stick my ribbon down and then tie my bow on and put it on top separately. Totally up to you which way you prefer to do it. Why do you use separate scissors for ribbon? Yeah, it's a good one. Say that really carefully, Shy Shamrock. Yes, you absolutely do, Emily. Why do I use separate scissors for ribbon? It's because if you try and use scissors that you cut paper and card with, paper and card does blunt your scissors. And I like to have a pair of really sharp scissors for ribbon. So I keep it separate. And I know they're my ribbon scissors because I've tied a little bit of ribbon around them. So I always keep these just for ribbon. Plus, if you do cut card, we always, I mean, I'm a messy crafter, as you know. And hello, Angela, yes. And I just prefer, if I try and then cut card or cut something else with these scissors, then they will get sticky. And actually, at my last class, somebody did cut some card with this, and it has left a little bit of a sticky residue just around the edge of the scissors, which is annoying to me, and I will have to go and clean it properly. But I tend to keep them just for ribbon because it's sharp. And if you try and cut scissors if you try and cut ribbon with anything that is a little bit blunt or even not quite as sharp as scissors should be, then you're not going to get a clean cut. And with ribbon like this, it will fray. There's no doubt about it. If I can just pull the edge there, you can see how the edge just frays. Try and do it against my hand so you can see how there's little fibres on the edge. And if you don't cut them really, I pulled that, it did cut cleanly. But you can see how easily it pulls and frays. So you need nice, sharp scissors so that you can have a really sharp cut and it doesn't fray at the edge. So that is why, and it's very useful to have a separate pair if you can afford it, obviously. Now let me find something to stick these on with. I'm just going to use some mini glue dots from my nearly used up box. So the only thing I wish is that Stampin' Up would turn these round and have the glue dots on here, because it would be a lot easier to use them, because it's difficult to push this down, whereas if I could push them directly from the paper if they were stuck to the paper side, but they're not. So I'm just going to put a couple of glue dots down there. I want to make sure it's really going to stick down, this bow. So I'll put the glue dots on there, and then I can stick my bow on top like that. And there is my bow, just again adding a little bit of something to a card. There's all sorts of ways of using ribbon. I think probably you understand, and you do mess ribbon up sometimes. Yeah, it doesn't go through neatly, absolutely. So keep your own sharp pair of scissors just for ribbon, definitely. Okay, so ribbon is a way to jazz up cards. So many ways you can use ribbon. I think I'll probably do a session just on ribbon, actually. That's not sitting because it's twisted. Let me just untwist that so that it sits better. There, that's better. It's just annoying me. So yeah, there's so many different ways of using ribbon. I'll stop talking about that now, because otherwise I'll get myself distracted and just go on talking about ribbon all the time. But yeah, I'll perhaps do a session on different ways we can use ribbon to jazz up cards. I think that'd be quite nice. So I've already cut Stamps and Cut a Sentiment. again stamped it in the Pretty in Pink, and I've used the You Are Loved from the Unbounded Love stamp set. This one here, You Are Loved, beautiful little sentiment. I've cut it out with one of the dies from the Unbounded Love Beauty, the same one I used for I Appreciate You there. So I've prepared that, and I've also already die cut 2 lots of die cuts. These are the Thoughtful Wishes die cuts, and then I've cut the leaves from the Unbounded Beauty one, and that is just an old little thing that came out of a punch that I didn't use and just was on the desk, so I thought I'll use that as well. So I'm going to do it similarly to this one, use some of these fronds just to sort of show above and beyond the like that, and stick the leaves elsewhere. So I'm going to put those on now, and I'm going to just put these on with little dabs of glue. Ideas for using ribbon as you've got loads? Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I think we'll do a ribbon thing. Might not be next week, but I'll put it on my list and I'll do it at some point. Lots of ideas for using ribbon. I don't actually use ribbon as much as I should, because I have loads of the stuff. It's amazing how far a roll goes. I've never had to rebuy ribbon, I don't think. So yeah, I shall do something with ribbon so that we've got it. Okay, so I'm just going to stick these on one each side of the remaining bit of card, just stuck flat to the card. So you can see now why I wasn't going to spend the time actually die cutting these as well, because it's going to take long enough just to put the glue on to stick these down. I could use the same technique as I used last week, which is to put the glue on my hand and use that as a sort of reservoir, and then pick up the glue on my die cuts. But I'm trying to be a little less messy this week. Might not work. And I've stick. And I've already got glue on my desk, look, which I wipe up with my fingers, so my fingers get sticky anyway. I don't know why I bother really sometimes. Okay, so we've stuck those down, and I'm going to stick this on with dimensionals, and then I think I'll stick the other bits on. So get my dimensionals. I'm going to need a new pack of these very soon. On my last row. So Angela says, I love how Stampin' Up has colour coordination. Absolutely. Yeah, do. I would definitely treat yourself to some of the card and the ribbon. It really is a beautiful colour. It's the one returning colour in this set, because the 4 of them are completely new, and the Pretty in Pink is actually returning. And it was around really when I started in Stampin' Up, I think about 10 or 11 years ago. It's a long time ago anyway, Pretty in Pink. But it has come back, and I'm really happy about it, because to my mind we haven't had a proper pink for a long time. So sponge with the glue, great idea. Yeah, it is, but I haven't got one easy to hand at the moment, so we're going to use little dobs for these. So making sure I've got it, putting the glue on the correct side, the down side of the die cut, if you like. That'll do. They don't need too much on. The difficulty with the little dots of glue is then picking the things up, because I've one there, I think, and this one. Try not to pick it up where I've just put the glue, which is really difficult. I have one down this side. I may or may not use this. As I say, it was sitting around. I'll use it just at the bottom there, actually, because there's a bit of a gap. This is it's part of the bow punch. And I was obviously cutting something with the bow punch, and this little bit flew off and landed on my desk, so I thought I might use it. I'll stick that at the bottom to sort of hide the fact that those stems are just in midair. There we go. So that's using the same principle as this, which is to have a simple and basic white die cut behind the sentiment, but I've jazzed up the whole card with ribbon, and then I'm going to finish it off, because another way to jazz up is to use embellishments, like our shimmer. I can get it open. These are the In Colour Shimmer Gems, and they're absolutely gorgeous. They're in all of the colours, as you can see, and you can see them shimmer, hopefully. They're lovely, aren't they? Yeah. Wow. So again, I'm just going to use the same colour. You could use different colours if you want, but I'm going very monochrome at the moment, which is interesting, because next Tuesday I shall be doing a monochrome card, because it's our blog hop. I'm in a blog hop with my people that well, it's run by the person that helps me with my website and technical stuff, because I am non-technical. And yeah, we do this blog hop once a month on the second Tuesday, and the theme for next Tuesday is monochromatic cards. So actually, I could have done this for next week, couldn't I? Because this is monochromatic. It's only using one colour. But anyway, we shall have another monochromatic card next week. So I just want to put a few gems on just to help. And again, various ways of using gems. Quite often I'll scatter them around fairly randomly. These gems, there's two sizes. I hope you can see there's a sort of larger size and a smaller size in each of the new ink colours. So what I'm going to do with these is I'm actually going to do a little line of them. Or perhaps I will, no, I don't know. Right, what do you think, folks? I can have a little line of gems there, or I can have them randomly round here. And I've already got the bow this side, but it looks a little bit empty above and below. So I want to add something in. So I think we'll have random today. I've made a choice. We're going to go random. So we're just going to have just a few gems, different sizes, different places. What I've got up here. Perhaps have a couple more. One rule for gems is always have an odd number. It looks better. For some reason, having an even number doesn't look right. Can't tell you why. It just doesn't. Try it yourself on cards, and you'll find it just doesn't look right if there's just, I've one extra there, I think. There we go. Just doesn't look right if you have an even number. So perhaps can't see the gems quite so well. Random. I'm glad you said random, Emma, because I've just done random. Yeah. So can I get it to catch the light on the gems? I'm not sure I can. They're not showing up terribly. Oh, perhaps that helps. Perhaps you can see them now. I've just got 5 gems. I've got one there, one there, one there, one there, and one there. So another way to jazz a card up is to just add a few gems, a little bit of twinkle, a little bit of glitz and glamour always goes down well on cards. So that was really what I wanted to focus on today. As I said, I've already done the stamping, so I didn't want to bore you with stamping today. I just wanted to show you how you can have a perfectly good card just with a very simple layout. This is just use the DSP, the die cut, and the sentiment, but you can jazz it up using a little bit of ribbon, putting a layer on, and adding a few gems. And it's amazing how often just adding a few gems can make quite a difference to a card. It would even make a difference to this card if I added some gems on it. I'm not going to, because I wanted you to see the contrast between the two, but it's very simple to add just a few little gems around that to make that a nice card. I'm not very good at random, but I think I've done it fairly well on there. Other ways to use gems are to put a little line of gems. That can work quite well, a line at the top and the bottom. And that's the one time I would use an even number, because I would use 3 in a line. 4 doesn't look right, so use 3. So a 3 and a 3, although that makes 6, that actually looks all right. And if they're random, you can probably get away with a more even number. But the rule is that to try and stick to an uneven number of gems. So that's what I really wanted to talk about today, which is how to jazz up a card. That is my subject for today, if you like. So there are the 2 cards. You can see the difference between them. I mean, personally, I like both, and I'd be very happy to be sent both. So yeah, you love the card. Thank you, Emma. That's really kind of you. Angela says that's gorgeous. Thank you. And yeah, you think you need to copy that technique? Absolutely. Feel free to copy any of my cards. I'm going to take a picture of this new card I've put on and this one, and we'll put them both in the blog so you can see them again there. And I'll put all the details in the blog. But that was my sort of lesson for today, is jazz up a card sometimes. Sometimes you make a card and look at it and think, yeah, it's all right, but it just needs something more. Always think ribbon, gems. They're the 2 things, and little die cuts always help. But ribbon and gems are the 2 extras that I would put on most things, just to jazz them up a little bit. So, and of course, as you said, I think it was Angela said earlier, the coordination from Stampin' Up products is fantastic, and it's why I love Stampin' Up. For the colour coordination more than anything else, because I know I can just pull out gems, I can pull out ribbon, and if it's in the same colour, I know it's going to be exactly the same colour. I know it's going to coordinate properly. I can use a layer of pink card against my pink DSP, and I know it's going to work properly. I remember before I actually found Stampin' Up, I used to buy stuff from all over the place, and I spent nearly 2 hours one day trying to find pinks that matched. I couldn't do it from my various bits of pink card that I'd got stashed around the place. So I actually gave all of that stuff to a local children's craft group who were very happy to receive it. And I stick just with Stampin' Up stuff now. Because of the colour coordination more than anything else. So the ink matches the paper, matches the ribbon, matches the card, and the gems. It's just so great. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me just put myself back. You don't need to keep watching the cards. You can see them in the corner if you need to. I'll just put myself back for a minute just to say thank you for joining me today. Thanks for joining in the chat, because it's so much nicer when I have people saying things that I can then respond to. Makes it easier, and you can help advise me, like random gems rather than straight line ones. So thank you for that, and I will see you again next week, 2 o'clock, same time, same place. Thank you for joining me. Bye for now. Don't forget, all the details are on the website, craftycarolscards.co.uk. And see you again next week, I hope. Okay. I shall press end rather than wrap it on, and see you again soon. Thanks for joining me. Bye for now.